Welcome back everyone. As you probably guessed from the intro as well as the thumbnail and title, this is the light that we're going to be going over today. It's an interesting light, and I do think, just bold prediction right up front, I think right now, as of when I'm recording this in April 2024, this is the best compact weapon light on the market, and we will probably show you guys why that is throughout the video. So what is it? Well, it is the Sig Sauer Foxtrot2R. 2R is a new designation. I have previously done a review of this little guy right here, the Foxtrot 2, that looks very similar, as well as the Foxtrot 1X. You guys can check that video out if you're interested in. But this one is new for 2024. And what is it? Well, again, compact weapon light. Comes with a ton of different paddle options if you guys want to switch them out from the factory. On this one, I left it factory just so that way you guys would know what to expect in the box, I guess you could say. Has several different inserts in there for 1913 rails as well as Glock rails. And you can slide them back, forward and aft, so that way you can adjust it, so that way the paddles are just right on your particular gun. It's going to fit the overwhelming majority of guns out there on the market. The bezel is something I can't show you on camera. I've tried to get photos of it 1,000 times and it simply doesn't work. But the bezel itself is not flat. It actually kind of rolls. And in the inside, the centermost portion is recessed into the light. I don't know why. I'm guessing it has something to do with the candela that you guys are going to see here in just a second, which is another big thing to talk about. So this is a 700 lumen, 20,000 candela light. So previously, as far as I know, that has never been a thing in terms of that high of candela of a light of this size. For reference, this guy right here, the Streamlight TLR HL, the high lumen version, is 1,000 lumens and 20,000 candela. So these two lights, and this one, of course, is the most popular weapon light ever, is putting out the same amount of candela as this one. Now, we will be doing some beam comparisons here in just a second, so stay tuned for that. But basically, it is powered by a rechargeable CR123A battery, and Sig gives you two of these straight out of the box. So you get two rechargeable CR123A batteries, and it goes in the way there, positive side in, like most compact weapon lights do. And basically, to mount it up on a gun, fairly simple. Again, you just set your 1913 rail wherever you want for that particular gun. We'll mount it up on this Legion here, and I know it needs to go forward just from looking at it. And again, you can just adjust it. So there we go. And then you're going to tighten this screw down. Good enough for video purpose. And then we get into the interface. So no matter what on this, the interface has changed. I should mention that. It's changed from the Foxtrot 2. So if you have Foxtrot 2, this one's a little bit different. And I think they've improved it based on user feedback, which is good. So no matter what, when you push down on the levers, on either side, it's the same on both sides. You can do it real quick or long. It doesn't matter. It's going to give you momentary only, as you guys can see. And when you push up on it, it's going to give you constant. It doesn't matter how long you hold it. It's going to give you constant no matter what. Now, if you think about that, a lot of guys are probably going to mount this at the 12 o'clock position on like a PCC or something like that. So it's perfectly usable in that configuration. So it can definitely fill the role of an EDC light like this, or something for like a little 9mm PCC for whatever you might use that for. But that is the interface for it. Very intuitive. You can't mess it up under stress, in my opinion. That really is one of the things I like about it the most. Of course, many of you guys are familiar with the TLR-1, which is different. The switches work differently depending on which side you activate it from. So that can be confusing for some folks, but that is how it looks there on this particular gun. But what we're going to compare it to are a number of different lights. We're going to compare it to the previous version, the Foxtrot 2. This was, I believe, 13,000 candela light and 580 lumens. I should note this one here is 700 lumens. Again, 20,000 candela. Then we're going to compare it to what is probably the king of the compact weapon light market at this point. This is the Streamlight TLR-7, 500 lumen, 5,000 candela. So if I was to make this video a couple of years ago, I would have said this was the king of compact lights. However, the lack of candela leads me to point you to the Sig option here that we're talking about. Aaron Cowan actually did a really good video, if you guys want to check it out, saying that the TLR-7 is not a duty light. And you can kind of, if you watch that video, he explains it much better than I can here. So definitely check it out if you want to see why I think the new Foxtrot 2R is better. And then we have this guy right here, the Surefire X300 Alpha. This is the 1,000 lumen version. So we're going to compare the beam patterns of all of those here in just a second. That said, before we do that, I do want to mention that this video is going to be a Mug Club episode. So we're going to have the free review of the light here on the channel, as well as my Rumble channel. And then we're going to head over to Mug Club following that and show you something that 5 years ago I would have been able to post on YouTube, but we can't do anymore. So I'm going to show you how to change the sights on a Glock pistol, a tutorial. Again, not allowed on YouTube anymore. It is what it is. It'll get your channel nuked. But if you guys don't know what Mug Club is, it is a free speech platform where a number of creators are creating exclusive content for their members. So myself, Steven Crowder, the Hodge twins, Alex Jones, I'm sure other people I can't think of, Brian Callen, Nick, probably other people I can't think of, Nick DiPaolo, I should say. But yeah, if you guys are interested, there should be a code here on your screen that will get you guys a free month over there. So definitely check it out. And with that, let's wait until the sun goes down. Before I start showing you guys the illumination and the output, I do want to remind you, if you're watching on a computer, if you turn your brightness on your monitor all the way up, that will be as close to what I actually see out here with my human eye. Camera, of course, is set on manual as well to keep it as close to what I see with my human eye. There's going to be a little difference, but it will be consistent across all the lights. Right now, when I'm filming, it is a full moon out, so we have a good bit of ambient light out. And first light up, we're just going to show you here is the old TLR-7, kind of a standard, if you will, for many years now for compact lights. You guys can see down there the spot where the wood fence meets the iron fence is about 30 yards away, and then those trees in the background are anywhere from 30 to 50, and you guys can see the hot spot there in the center on the chair if we actually focus in there on that chair down there. And then if we pan across, you'll see it does have a pretty good flood, so it's going to give you pretty good situational awareness all the way across. Now the next light up is going to be the Foxtrot 2, not the 2R, so just the 2. This is the 13,000 candela version. You guys can see there the hotspot is a little bit more intense than it was with the TLR-7. However, maybe a little bit less flood, but again, that tighter hotspot for a little bit greater throw. Next up will be the star of the show, the 2R from Sig Sauer. And again, you guys can see there 20,000 candela. It is brighter than the Foxtrot 2 for sure, noticeably brighter than what you guys are going to see there from the TLR-7. Now we're going to move on to the double cell or full size lights. So up first here we have the Streamlight TLR-1 HL. Very similar candela rating, right at 20,000. However, this has a wider hotspot, so it's putting out just more light overall, 1,000 lumens versus 700 lumens, but again, a larger light. Lastly, we're looking at the Surefire X300 Ultra. This is, of course, not the turbo version, so again, a 1,000 lumen light. Again, a little bit more situational awareness with this than what you'd get with the 2R, and we'll compare a couple of these back to back here before moving out to distance. Once again, we're looking at the Streamlight TLR-7, 5,000 candela, 500 lumen light. Now to contrast that, we're going to have the Sig Foxtrot2R. Again, just a much brighter, also a whiter light as well in terms of color index. A little bit tighter hotspot for sure. Again, this is the 2R, and again, here is the Streamlight TLR-7. And again, we're looking at the Streamlight TLR-1 HL, the 1,000 lumen, 20,000 candela light, and then here we have the Foxtrot 2R. Once again, you see the color temperature difference for sure. This is a much whiter color temperature index. This is a more neutral here with the TLR-1 HL, but in terms of candela, they look pretty similar to me. Once again, for the new folks, I'm about 10 yards back on my property. From shore to shore across the lake is about 110 yards, and then beyond that is a little fishing shack that you're about to see here in just a second, and that is another 10 yards on my neighbor's property. So what we're going to be focusing on is approximately 130 yards away. And if we go ahead and hit the Foxtrot 2R, you guys can see the output there from it. Now, one thing to note is that to the right of your screen here, while focusing on that shack, our rosemary bush on my property here is still pretty well illuminated by the flood. And when we zoom in, what you actually see here when we zoom in is more akin to what I see with my human eye. It's very, very close to what I'm seeing out here. So if somebody was standing out in front of that shack, I would easily be able to tell that. I would also be able to tell that, say they had something in their hand that was either a cell phone or a pistol or whatever the case may be, I'd be able to tell there was something in their hand. Would I be able to tell what it was? Honestly, probably not. So that kind of is the limitations of that 20,000 candela. Again, that's 130 yards away. For comparison, here is the Streamlight TLR-7. Again, 5,000 candela, so a very big difference in terms of what you're actually getting out there. A little bit more flood, though, on the rosemary bush, so pros and cons to each, for sure. And if we zoom in, you'll see you would know someone was out there. Beyond that, you'd have a hard time knowing much about what they were doing. Again, for comparison, that is the Foxtrot 2R, if we can actually get it on there. And again, Here is the Streamlight TLR-7. Now we're looking at the output from the Streamlight TLR-1, again 1000 lumens, roughly 20,000 candela as well, so candela numbers pretty darn close. Note though, again, off to the right of your screen is that rosemary bush, getting a lot of illumination up close and personal. Zooming in there, again, very, very similar to what we saw earlier with that Foxtrot2R. And just to illustrate that point, I'm going to turn on the Foxtrot2R there, and again, pretty similar in terms of the information you're actually getting there, and switching off from that and bringing back the Streamlight. Honestly, I don't know which one gives you a little bit more information. Let's do them kind of back to back. Right now, again, we're looking at the Streamlight TLR-1 and then Foxtrot2R, Streamlight TLR-1. Let me know down below what you think is brighter. I can tell you with my human eye, I think the 2R has a little bit more intense hotspot. Now that y'all have seen the beam comparison, a few things to discuss here before we close the video out. Just full disclosure, Sig has sent 2 of these out to me. That said, I've also purchased 2 of them, so I have a total of 4. I have put many thousands of rounds through several different guns with these lights on it, both AR-15s as well as pistols, pistol calibers up to 45 caliber. So we have drop tested them. You guys could probably see some scuffs on there. We have had 0 issues of durability of any kind, no switches breaking, nothing like that. Of course, that always could happen, and Sig does have pretty good customer service. At least the reputation is. I haven't used it, but pretty good customer service, so they should take care of you should anything break. And just kind of looking at it, again, it's an all aluminum body. The only thing I could really see breaking on it is maybe the switches, but those are kind of protected because they're in the middle of the gun, if that makes sense, when it is mounted. And another important thing to factor, as always, is going to be price. So right now, these things have an MSRP of $149. That is the good news. The bad news is they seem to be sold out just about everywhere because I think word is getting out on these lights. So I was looking around before making this video, and the only place that had them in stock was the Sig Sauer website. So again, I think word's getting out that these things are pretty impressive for the size, weight, etc., and the output that you guys are seeing there. So $149 MSRP, just for context. The Streamlight TLR's MSRP is $169, so roughly in the same ballpark. Where are they made? I'm sure they're not made in America. I don't know exactly where they're made. It doesn't actually say on there, does it? But I'm sure they're not made in America, not at that price point. So all in all, like I said, I do think it is the best compact pistol light on the market. Holster compatibility. So right now, again, the Foxtrot 2, not the 2R, the 2R, has been out for a long time. And there are a number of companies making holsters for them. The one I know off the top of my head is Works, that definitely does. But there are many others out there. So just, you know, before purchasing one, of course, you probably want to check to see if somebody makes one for your particular gun and light combo. If not, look local. A lot of local shops now are making kydex, so you can just bring your gun in there and they'll make one for you. So that is holster availability. And with that, guys, I think that's pretty much it for the review of the light. If you guys have one, let me know what you think of it, rather, down below in the comments. Additionally, if you guys like this video and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. Follow me on all my various social media sites that you see here on your screen, preferably the non-metal ones, because that's where I can actually post things and not be censored and actually have people see things. What a concept. But if you've hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week on the channel, make sure you sign up for my email list at the website here on your screen. This email goes out once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous month's email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, at the website there, we have lots of other things that we can't post about here on YouTube because of reasons. So definitely check the website out. I think you guys will like it. Additionally, we have the Daily Deals email. This email goes out every day, as the name indicates, and it has 8 best deals that we find around the internet. If the item, whatever it is, guns, optics, ammo, lights, etc., is in the email on that particular day, it's the cheapest I know of anywhere on the internet because I've done the price comparisons for you. So that way, hopefully it saves you some time and some money. There's also usually a pretty good meme in there as well. So if you guys like Pro 2A memes, definitely sign up for the email. And with that, we're going to close it out here on YouTube and Rumble. We'll see y'all over at Mug Club.